Assalamu alaikum. A very good day to you. And at first, I would like to provide all types of praise for the Almighty Allah who has given me a chance to join such like our digital platform. And today, I am going to take a session on financial management. And before launching my session, I would like to pronounce the name of this coordinator of the session, Professor Devobroto Ghosh, Honorable Principal, Government Hossain Sohrawardy College, Magura, and course coordinator Abdul Wadud Bishas, Head and Associate Professor, Department of Accounting, Government Hossain Sohrawardy College, Magura. And here I am Mohammad Mahbub Hossain, Lecturer, Department of Accounting, Government Hossain Sohrawardy College, Magura. So I hope so. This session will be very much interesting and enjoyable to you. And so go to the today's topic, and today's topic is calculation procedure of an net operating income and weighted average cost of capital. Net operating income and weighted average cost of capital. So dear learners, we have to discuss on this particular issue: net operating income, weighted average cost of capital, equity capital, interest associated with this equity, and debt. And we have to clear about the position associated with it, earning before interest and tax. That means net operating income, weighted average cost of capital, equity, interest, debt, and earning before interest and tax. So we have to discuss about some particular items on this particular fact so that we may calculate very clearly and understand all things at the same time what we have to do when the question paper will given to you, and we have to solve in what we have to solve. So for this reason of being, this particular item should be very clear at first. Number one, net operating income. That means net income and net operating income, there is a different things. So net income approach, that is a definite relationship between capital structure and the value of the firm. Net income approach, here there is a specific relationship between capital structure and the value of the firm. The capital structure of a firm influences its cost of capital, that means weighted average cost of capital, and thus directly affects the value of the firm. It influences the weighted average cost of capital, and for this reason of being, the firm is directly associated with of its effect. Okay, and here there is a particular specific point, that means cost of debt, that means KD. We define cost of debt by KD is less than the cost of equity. KE means cost of equity. That means KE will be higher than KD. Here cost of equity will be higher than cost of debt. So, and number two, very specific point for assumption in this particular facts: corporate income tax do not exist. That means there is no need to consider the corporate income tax. So net income approach, there is a specific relationship between capital structure and the value of the firm, and it influences weighted average cost of capital, and its direct effect to the value of the firm. And assumption is cost of equity will be higher than the cost of debenture or cost of debt, and corporate income tax will not be exist. Clear? Okay. Now net income approach, higher use of debt capital will result in reduction of weighted average cost of capital. Net income approach, higher use of debt of capital. If you use a huge amount of debt capital, in result the weighted average cost of capital will be reduced. As consequence, that means for this reason of being, the value of the firm will be increased. So in these particular cases, you may use debt capital. Now the question may raise in your mind, how will you calculate the value of the firm? And for this reason, there is a specific formula. value of the firm equal to earnings divided weighted average cost of capital. Earnings divided weighted average cost of capital. And earning means net operating income. Net operating income, or EBIT, earning before interest and tax. So if you want to calculate the value of the firm, earnings divided weighted average cost of capital, or you may say as like that, net operating income divided weighted average cost of capital, or you may say that EBIT divided weighted average cost of capital. Second point, earnings EBIT being constant. You have to remain these things. Earning EBIT will remain constant, and weighted average cost of capital is reduced. The value of the firm will always increase. That means the previous discussion. Okay, third point, thus as net operating income, a firm will have maximum value at a point where weighted average cost of capital is minimum. Where average cost of capital is minimum, then there is a point will raise in front of you where the maximum value of the firm will raise up in front of you. So that is when the firm is almost debt finance, thus there can be a optimal capital structure. That means when the firm is almost debt finance, thus there can be a optimal capital structure. That means expected capital structure you may get in this particular situation if these types of condition may adjust with your firm. So this is the concept about net income approach. Now this is the picture in front of you. Here, as the proportion of debt, that means KD, in capital structure increases, yes, according to income approach, debt capital increases, the cost of capital, that means KO, reduce. So same in the result, in fine we may say as like that, debt of capital is higher. Debt of capital, if you increase the debt of capital, then weighted average cost of capital will reduce. As the proportion of debt, that means KD in capital structure increases, the weighted average cost of capital will be reduced. Okay, so next one, calculate the value of the firm and weighted average cost of capital for the following structure. You have to, that means here there is the assumption, there is a question paper will be given to you, and there EBIT of the firm is given 2 lakh, cost of equity 10%, cost of debt 6%, cost of equity 10%, cost of equity 6%, EBIT 2 lakh, and debt capital respectively 5 lakh for option 1, 7 lakh for option 2, and 3 lakh for option 3rd cases. So now we have to justify what is the actual condition at the end of the figure. That means when we will calculate weighted average cost of capital, what will be the ultimate result. Okay, EBIT given 2 lakh for each cases. Okay, interest, that means how much interest will be raised. In this case, how many percentage? That means 6% has given for you. So if you calculate, then it is 30,000, 42,000, and 12,000. Okay, even after that, EBT means EBIT. If you can deduct interest from EBIT, earning before interest and tax. If you deduct interest, then you will get EBT. EBT means earning before tax. Earning before tax, how much for case 1? 1,70,000. For case number 2, 1,58,000, and for case number 3, 1,88,000. Now KE, that means cost of equity, has given the percentage. Here 70%, 10%, 10% is for each 10%. Now calculate. Now if you divide it, now it is time. That means you have to calculate EBT divided KE. EBT divided KE. EBT means 1,70,000, and you have to divide it by 10%. Then you will get the value of equity. That means 17 lakh. In case of case 2, 15,80,000. In case of third case, 18,80,000. Am I clear? Just you have to divide it KE. Which that means EBT you will be divided by KE, but that means cost of equity. Then you will get the figure of value of equity. Okay. Now the particular debt has given. For case 1, 5 lakh. For case 2, 7 lakh, and for case 3, 2 lakh has given. So here 5 lakh, 7 lakh, and 2 lakh. Total value of the farm, you have to add 5 lakh with 17 lakh. Then total value of the farm you will get how much amount? 22 lakh. 2 lakh 80,000, and in case of 3, 20 lakh 80,000. Now weighted average cost of capital. Weighted average cost of capital in case of for case 1, 9.9%, and in this case 8.77%, and 9.92%. Now the question may raise in your mind, in what way you have to calculate? Just you have to calculate by this way. EBIT divided value. EBIT divided the value of the farm, and you have to multiply by 100. That means forgetting the percentage. Okay, it is clear, very clear. That means just like problem will be given to your question paper, and you have to calculate weighted average cost of capital by using the configuration that will be given to your question paper. Okay, I'm expecting that you understand very clearly by this graphical presentation. Okay, now we have to go to the second slide regarding the theory of net operating income. Look very clear carefully. Net operating income approach. Okay. Net operating income approach is the exact opposite. Of net income approach. This is very important point. Net operating income approach is the exactly opposite of net income approach. So what will be the result? As per net income approach, the value of the firm is not depend upon its capital structure. Net operating approach does not depend upon the capital structure of the firm. Thus, there is no optimal capital structure. So in this case, expected capital structure you will not get. Now the question may raise in your mind, what are the particular assumptions we have to keep in our mind while calculating the net operating income? Weighted average cost of capital is always constant in this particular case. In case of calculating net operating approach, weighted average cost of capital is always constant. That means no variability. Okay. And value of the firm is calculated using the overall cost of capital. And value of the firm is calculated using overall cost of capital. The cost of debt is constant. I have already said that, and in this case, the cost of debt is constant. That means a specific amount of interest rate will given to you. And also here, corporate income tax do not exist. That means in this case, corporate income tax you need not to consider. Okay, so this is the particular point you have to keep remain in your mind while calculating the weighted average cost of capital. So another high thought you have to, there is a high thought regarding this particular issue. That means for net operating income, what is that? The use of higher debt component. The use of higher debt component in capital structure increase the risk of shareholder. In this case, this system increases the risk of shareholder because maximum amount of money will come from borrowings as capital. Increase in shareholder risk causes equity capitalization rate is increased. Increase in shareholders risk. Increase in shareholder risk causes the equity of capitalization rate to increase. That means higher cost of equity. In this particular case, what types of formulation of a capital you have to use, its cost will be so high than the debt. A higher cost of equity nullifies the advantage gained due to cheaper cost of debt. In this case, cost of debt is cheaper cost than a guide due to the cheaper cost of debt. That means cost of debt is cheaper and cost of equity is higher. That means totally opposite of net income. Net operating income is totally opposite of net income. In other words, we may say as like that, the finance mix is irrelevant and does not affect the value of the firm. Finance mix is irrelevant and does not affect the value of the firm in these particular cases. So, this is the facts. So here there is a graphical representation in front of you. The cost of capital is constant as the proportion of debt increases, KE increases, and no effect on total cost of capital. Look, KD, cost of capital and cost of equity, and here the debt position. So now we have to calculate the net operating income. Example is given to you. A problem is given to you. We have to calculate the cost of equity. So I hope it will be very easy for you to understand all things. Sometime look, EBIT is given how much amount? 2 lakh. Weighted average cost of capital, KO 10%, KD 6%, and debt given for particular 3 option. Number 1 3 lakh, number 2 4 lakh, and number 3 5 lakh. 3 option has given. Okay. So for option 1, for every option, EBIT 2 lakh, and the color green color indicates 2 lakh, 2 lakh, and 2 lakh. Weighted average cost of capital is given how much percentage? 10%, 10%, and 10%. Okay. The value of the firm. The value of the firm, if you multiply, okay, that means EBIT divided weighted cost, EBIT divided weighted average cost of capital. Then you will get the total value of the firm. Similarly, the previous item of the problem. Okay, and now you have to calculate the interest of debenture. Debenture debt amount 3 lakh, and you on it the percent has given 6%. So 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 3 lakh for first option, second option, and third option for 5 lakh. Okay, value of equity. Value of equity, how you have to calculate the value of equity? Just you have to, these are given, okay, and value of equity, that means value of equity is 17 lakh, 16 lakh, and 15 lakh. Okay, just you have to deduct here 20 lakh, 20 lakh, 20 lakh. Okay, now you have to deduct the debenture debt amount. Then you will get the equity amount. That means from 20 lakh to, if you deduct 30 lakh, then you will get 17 lakh. Okay, then you will get 17 lakh. Even after that, if you deduct from 4 lakh from 20 lakh, then you will get 16 lakh equity. Even after that, if you deduct 5 lakh from 20 lakh, then you will get 15 lakh for option 3, the equity capital. Now we have to deduct the 6% of debt capital. That means if we impose 6% on 3 lakh, then we will get 18 lakh as interest. 18 lakh as interest. That means 18 lakh as interest. Okay, 18 lakh as interest. Even after that, if we deduct how much amount? If we deduct here 4 lakh is debenture, and if we impose on it 6%, then we will get 24,000. Similarly, if we impose 6% on 5 lakh, then we will get 30% interest. Now the question. Now you have to calculate EBT. That means from 17 lakh, if you deduct 18,000 interest, then you will get EBT. That means earning before interest, earning before tax. Similarly, for option you will get 1,76,000, and for option 3, 1,70,000. Okay. So hence the cost of equity will be 10.71%. For option 2, 11.00%, and for option 3, 11.33%. That means you use gradually more debt, and the cost of equity also increase gradually. Am I right? Here 10, 11 and 11 something. Okay, that means gradually increases for using the debt capital. So in this particular case, if we use net operating income approach, then the opportunity will get the opportunity for using the debt, because here cost of equity capital will increase. If we take the opportunity, then cost of equity will be increased. That means the reverse of net income approach. Okay, even after that, we have to know some traditional aspect. We have a traditional approach for calculating net income approach and NOI approach. That means the net income approach and net operating income approach holds the extreme views on the relationship between the capital structure and the cost of capital and the value of the firm. Now the question may raise in your mind, traditional approach conflicts the existence of optimal capital structure, or average cost of capital is minimum and the value of the firm is maximum. Weighted average cost of capital is minimum and the value of the firm is maximum. In case of optimal capital structure, expected capital structure, the scenario will be weighted average cost of capital will be minimum and the value of the firm will be maximum. As per this approach, the best possible mix of debt and the equity will maximize the value of the firm. The best possible mix of debt and equity will maximize the value of the firm. It is very important. It is noted that a best possible mix of debt and equity will maximize the value of a firm. This is the important point in this particular cases. The approach works in 3 phases. The value of the firm increases with an increase in drawings. That means the value of the firm increases with an increase in drawings. That means with the waiver of drawings, the value of the firm will be raised. That means KD will be less. That means KE will be higher than KD. KD will be less than KE. That means KE will be. That means cost of equity will be higher in this particular case, and cost of debt will be lower. As a result, weighted average cost of capital will reduce gradually. So this is the phenomena in this particular cases. Okay. Okay. And now the question number 2. reduction in weighted average cost of capital ceases and it tends to stabilize. That means weighted average cost of capital is engaged in a room and tends to stabilize, and the firm want to stabilize its movability. Further, increases in borrowings will not affect weighted average cost of capital, and that means you have to set in such a way, if you want to borrow the next time, then it will certainly not affect the weighted average cost of capital. The value of the firm will also stagnate. That means the value of the firm will also be set up in such a way that will show a good basement. And number 3, increase in debt beyond the point increases shareholders and the risks, that means financial risks. And in this case, KE increases. K increases and KD also raised due to higher debt, and weighted average cost of capital increases, and the value of the firm will be decreases. That means if the KD raise proportionately more than the KE, then weighted average cost of capital will be increases and the value of the firm ultimately will be decreased due to this fact. Okay. So now here there is a graphical presentation in front of you. In case of traditional approach, cost of capital KO reduces initially, and but after this point KO increases, and after the KO from here increases. Okay, due to increase the cost of equity. As the cost of equity is increases, this is why. Okay, so it is another time to calculate traditional approach method. Suppose there is a problem. There is a problem in front of you. EBIT taka, how much amount? 1,50,000, and our in this case, KE, the percentage has given to you 16%, and debt 3 lakh at 10% interest rate, or 5 lakh 12% interest rate. That means there are two alternatives in front of you. Initial is 100%. That means there is no tendency to increase, and at present time. And in case of number 2, 3 lakh has given, and in case of case long 5 lakh is given debt component. So rate of interest, how much amount? 0%, as there is no percentage mentioned in this case, and it is present, so 0%. And in case of 1, 10%, in case of 2, 12%, and in this particular case EBIT 1,50,000 has given to this problem. 1,50,000 for each other. 1,50,000 for option 1, 2, and 3. And now the interest. In case of interest 0%, so there is no interest. In case of case number 2, 3 lakh, so 10% means 30,000. And in case of case number 3, how much amount? 60,000. Am I right? EBT means has there is no interest, so EBIT minus interest 0 taka, so EBT, earning before tax, how much amount? 1,50,000 is 1,50,000. In case of case number 2, 1,50,000 minus 30,000, that means EBT, earning before tax 1,20,000. And in case of case number 3, 1,50,000 minus 60,000, that means 90,000 is EBT, earning before tax. So cost of equity, how much amount will be? You have to divide it. 1,50,000 EBIT, how much amount here? 1,50,000, that divided by 16%. Then you will get K. How much amount? 9,73,500. And in case of option 2, 70,05,882 taka. And in case of option 3, 4,50,000. So total value of the firm, debenture, debt plus equity. How much amount? This is the amount. As there is no debt in case of number 1 option. In case of 2, there is a debt and there is an equity. So how much amount? The amount is 10 lakh 5,882, and in case of 9 lakh 50,000 in case of option 3. Total value of the firm and the weighted average cost of capital, in what way we have to calculate? EBIT divided value, similarly the previous one, okay, and multiply by 100. EBIT divided value of the firm and multiply by 100. Then 16%, 14.91%, and 15.79%. This is the calculation procedure. Very easy for you to calculate at the same time. Am I right? So just you have to follow the procedure, respective procedure, and you have to calculate. And you have to practice more and more so that at the time of the examination you can give the questions answer very confidently. So for this reason of being practice, practice and practice. Practice is necessary in this particular case to solve this particular problem. Okay. So I think it is matter little to you to calculate at the same time. Just you have to realize. Okay, before I would like to request you, you will go to my YouTube channel and you have to press on the address bar MD Mohabbat Hossain, MD full stop Mohabbat Hossain, and you will get the consequence uploading topic, and you may realize all things at the same time. I hope so. So dear participants, see you again for next topics, and I hope so this session is very clear to you, basically the students of accounting and management and who has to calculate the financial management for examination and for calculating the various methods and applying their own procedure. So it will be very easy for you to understand. I hope so. So next, I would like to give the special thanks for taking patience. Thank you all for staying with Mohabbat. Allah Hafiz.